What's up, you guys? It's Steve here. And should you expect a fourth federal level stimulus check? Well, what we're hearing from economists is yes. You should expect a stimulus check very soon. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest updates that we're hearing because they're saying that what we're expecting on the horizon for our economy, well, it's not looking good, and people are likely going to need more support than ever before. Now, I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. And take a look at the headlines coming out in just the past couple days. This one just 2 days ago. Stimulus check update. Is the Biden administration going to be sending out more relief for rising gas prices? As you know, we've got record high gas prices, inflation at a 41-year high, and they're saying these gas prices, they're likely not going to be coming down anytime soon. Now, the Biden administration today is meeting with big oil companies to see if they can bring down those prices somehow. But we're hearing that Congress is saying that these efforts, they're not even going to do enough, and that they probably need to send out stimulus checks. Now, take a look, you guys. Also, after $6 trillion in pandemic spending, Team Biden is still complaining about a lack of pandemic funds. Democrats passed trillions in pandemic relief, but continue to cry poor. And they've passed, they said, nearly $6 trillion from all the previous stimulus packages. Yet they're saying we need to do more spending because we are not done with the pandemic. There's a war with Russia and Ukraine, supply chain issues happening in China, record high food and gas prices, and 41-year high inflation. But they're also saying, why have we not tapped into all of the unspent funds? There's nearly $1 trillion, $800 billion to be exact, just sitting there. Take a look, you guys. This came out from earlier in the year, and we're hearing confirmation. It's still the case. Unspent funds, color debate over additional pandemic relief. Of about $5.7 trillion of fiscal support that Congress has provided since early 2020, about $800 billion remains unspent or uncommitted, according to reports, and they're saying these figures could lag, but we're hearing it's still about $800 billion just sitting there. And just to give you an idea of how much money that is, the third federal level stimulus check of $1,400, that was about $400 billion. So they have double that amount sitting there, where they could send out two $1,400 checks or one of $2,800 to everybody in the nation. A fourth federal level check. That's how much excess funds is just sitting there, you guys. And a lot of people are saying, President Joe Biden, it's time for you to issue that out through executive order, repurpose, reallocate those funds, send it out, and keep your promise that Bernie Sanders has been telling you to keep for over a year now. Bernie Sanders warns Joe Biden, keep your promises on $2,000 stimulus checks. You can't tell the American people you're going to send it out and then not do it. Now, we will see, you guys, but take a look at what's coming out just yesterday. How likely are stimulus checks to be used in the next recession? Well, economists weigh in. Stimulus checks were used at a larger scale during the pandemic-era recession than ever before. Why Americans could see the payments again in the next downturn, which we are hearing is likely happening right now. Recession on the horizon. Even though the president and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said it's not inevitable, we're hearing it's very likely going to happen right now. And economists are saying, get ready for fourth federal level stimulus checks. Now, you guys, I'm going to dive into this article, get you caught up on the latest. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We're hearing about 80% of people say yes, send out a fourth federal level stimulus check. We had over 3 million signatures from people in the United States saying send out monthly, reoccurring $2,000 stimulus checks to help people out. We are still in need. Let me know your thoughts, you guys, but let's dive into this article, get you caught up on the latest. And we're hearing that Congress, they're ramping up for midterm elections, and Democrats that are in full control, they're likely going to want to stay in control, and it's very likely we're hearing that right before these elections. They're going to be proposing more stimulus provisions, trying to pass more packages, and calling upon the president to pass executive orders and executive actions. And we will see. I will keep you up to date. But let's dive right in. Now, before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, if you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to speed on stimulus checks, stimulus packages, Congress, the economy, everything going on, don't forget to take a quick second, smash that like button for me. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. If you appreciate the content, it helps me out. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out, and if you want to stay up to date, I keep you up to speed. I pretty much do updates every single day now, multiple times a day. All you got to do to join, it's free. Why not? Smash that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, come join the Ram fam. Any specific questions for me, hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. I'll do my best to get you any answers to any questions that you got. Consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. If you're interested, I will pin a comment down below. Click the link, go subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'm assembling a comprehensive list of all stimulus checks for states, cities, and counties There's literally hundreds that people don't know about, and I want to make sure that you don't miss out on anything, because you have to apply for a lot of these, and they're only available for a limited amount of time, and I'm going to make sure that you don't miss out anything if you're here a part of the Steve Ram channel. The Ram fam, I'm going to have you covered, so you guys keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, let's dive into this article and let you know what economists are saying about more stimulus checks. All right, so first up, link in the description below to this article that just came out 2 days ago that says, over the holiday weekend, multiple reports indicated that the Biden administration is considering a couple of options as a new stimulus plan to address rising gas prices. And we actually saw the announcement for this yesterday, and now today we're hearing they are meeting with big oil. Now, according to the Washington Post, President Biden said that he would make a decision on the gas tax holiday by the end of the week, and this would reportedly save Americans about 18.4 cents per gallon at the pump. And he said, yes, I'm considering it. I hope to have a decision based on data by the end of this week. Now, the gas tax holiday would remove all taxes on the cost of gasoline. However, the president is also considering rebate cards, aka stimulus checks or prepaid cards that would go out, which is another option to provide millions of Americans relief at the pump. That's part of what we're considering, Biden added about the cards. That's part of the whole operation. Now, rebate cards were considered months ago, and according to another report from the Washington Post, the cards are now being reconsidered again as well. Though the gas tax holiday may be more likely, as the U.S. chip shortage will probably make it hard to produce enough cards for everyone. So we're hearing that the cards are likely not on the table, and they're saying, well, we could send these out through direct deposit or provide paper stimulus checks for gas. Now, how likely is that? If things get worse, take a look at this. How likely are stimulus checks to be used in the next recession? Economists weigh in and say very likely. The stimulus checks sent out during the pandemic were widely popular. Nearly 4 in 5 voters were in support of direct payments to American families. And yes, we're hearing that is still accurate. About 80% of Americans say, yeah, I could use another stimulus check. And Democrats and Republicans alike rallied behind the policy, an increasingly rare sight in Washington. So overwhelming support and popularity for stimulus checks. Still, the checks were not without controversy. Among the criticism was that there were too many rounds of payments that went out, that they should have been better targeted to financially struggling Americans, and that the cash led, at least in part, to runaway inflation that we're currently now seeing. Now, nevertheless, the popularity of the payments and findings that they reduced poverty and promoted spending means that they're likely to become a tool pulled out by the government in the next recession, which may be coming very soon, experts say. And yes, they're saying we could be in it right now. Do not be surprised to see checks roll out, especially right before election time. I expect stimulus checks to be used again, said a macroeconomic policy consultant and former Federal Reserve economist. They worked. Now, stimulus checks aren't a new recession tool. They've been used in the past, but they were used in large in the most recent pandemic. And take a look, you guys. This chart shows that over 50% of all of the checks went towards food. Also, utilities, households, paying debt. A lot of these really important items were used for the stimulus checks. The vast majority of people that got those, they really needed them and they used them right away. And checks can make an impact within days. The Economist points out that stimulus checks have a unique advantage compared with other forms of aid. For one, they get to people very quickly. Research on stimulus checks shows that people spend about half of the checks, and they do so very quickly. The bottom falls out in a recession, so it's important to blunt the fall right away. Checks do that very well. The second and third rounds went out within days, as we had some people get them within 24 hours that had direct deposit. No other relief program came even close. The payments also stimulate the economy in a short amount of time, and research on the stimulus checks shows that people spend about half of the checks, and they do so very quickly. So there you have it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I'd say the vast majority of people would agree that they would like to see more stimulus checks, as we're hearing these are approved by over 80% of the population. And we've heard that out of all provisions, stimulus checks fought poverty better than anything else. That includes unemployment, that includes Social Security bump-ups, child tax credits, wiping out student loan debt, a lot of the provisions that are currently back on the table under consideration right before these midterm elections, where they're saying there was nothing else that beat stimulus checks. They go out to everybody in the nation on a federal level. Now, we will see, and we're hearing it's very likely that they're going to be coming back. Now, if they do, whatever unfolds, I'll keep you up to date here on the channel, and also I'll be sure to keep you up to date on state, city, and county checks. As I mentioned, there are tons of them rolling out all the time, and that's because of the $350 billion that was allocated to states, counties, and cities through the American Rescue Plan Act that was passed back in March of 2021. And now, believe it or not, over a year later, counties, cities, states, they're starting to take the money now and pass their own packages and their own checks. And I'm keeping you up to date on all of them as they're popping up, and some of them are only available for a limited amount of time. But everything that unfolds, I'll be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me this Thursday evening. I hope that this video was a blessing to you, and I will catch you in the next one. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for me. Helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to stay up to date and you're not subscribed to the channel yet, why not? It's free. Come join the Ram fam. Smash the subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. And like I said, keep an eye out for that comprehensive list of all checks on all levels. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me once again, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.